right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to get started with our morning analysis here and go through all the charts and get ready for today. Today we have existing home sales. Okay, so existing home sales will be, I think we have crude oil inventories. So a couple things that are coming out this morning. So let's start off with the euro dollar. Okay, so the euro. I am going to delete everything with the euro. How about we start from scratch? Okay. Obviously, that was never really a flag. Well, I mean, that flag doesn't look like it's going to come to fruition right now. I think we're more in a range environment. I was hoping we would make one last push in the euro dollar. I really don't think that's going to be the case. Here's the euro. The way and this is the daily chart, or no, I'm sorry, it's 4-hour chart, but the way we got to look at the euro is probably a tightening range, which if we didn't push into new lows, it's probably going to be more of the, realistic scenario is we're going to be tightening a range that looks probably something closer to this, and unfortunately we're still smack dab in the middle. It's just trying to figure out where we're going to go next from here, and being right square in the middle at this moment, your guess is as good as mine. Now there are obviously some things happening right now that suggest the dollar could bounce, which means maybe the euro could come right back down here. I think it's entirely possible, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to play out that way. So let's figure out where our boundaries are here. So whoops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, the 786 retracement is probably going to be the most important for the euro right at currently, because the way I look at it is this setup here will be something like crap. That's all. You know what? Let's try that again. What I'm thinking at this point is we are going to develop some sort of harmonic pattern that looks like this, okay? Only if the 786 holds, okay? That means we have to hold below basically 108.10, all right? So 108.10 is going to be pretty key resistance, because if that's the case, okay, we can hold 108.10. I would assume that our next visit is going to be down here towards 106. Okay. It's going to look something like that. Okay. And, whether or not it extends all the way down here is to be seen. But that's what I'm thinking right now. Yeah, but why? Just because we're in this range, and like I said, the dollar could firm from here, and if the dollar firms from here, I'm hoping it will. I'm playing into it. Got long some dollar Swiss, shorted some Aussie, shorted some Kiwi. So and I shorted the pound a few moments ago. So I'm hoping the dollar starts to strengthen from here, because that'll just further my case that that we're coming down to the lower end of the range. But again, I don't want to be too aggressive, and I'm not with any of my positions right now, because I know that we're really just range bound with the dollar. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking right now. Now, in order for this to play out the way I'm envisioning it, we have to hold 108.10. Okay, so resistance for the euro dollar 1.0810. That's going to be key resistance, because if we can take out that 108.10, okay, let's remove that. Let's remove. Here, I'm gonna delete all this stuff actually. Okay, so if we can break this 108.10 resistance, then what this will probably end up being, and again, I'm just trying to think ahead here, instead of a Gartley pattern. We're probably looking at more like an A B C D. You know, AB equals CD. Okay, AB equals CD type of move. So again, I don't know. I don't know which one we're going to do. Uh, so we can here. I can do the something that looks like that, or again the Gartley pattern. I'm unclear what we're going to do. I hope we see a Gartley pattern because of obviously it would help out my positions, but more so because I'd rather play the euro off the long side down here, um, as well. And I really I don't think the cable's got much more juice left in it. If you think about the elections that are coming up, the possibility of a hung parliament is quite high. So I'm thinking that the cable's probably going to start turning around soon. Anyway, that would be my initial thoughts. So, and if that happens, then that means it's going to drag down the euro too. So 108.10 is key resistance. Well, I think after today, we should find out get a pretty good clear picture of what's going to happen um, with the euro here. So here's your support. I know it's really close, but 107.50. I'll write down 107.50 first. Hold on. What's that low right here? 107.15. So 1.0715, 1.0750. Okay. Bias. We're still in a range environment. Hey, imagine that. Okay, let's go over to the cable. So here's a pound. Yeah, I sold some at 50, 65. 65. I'm up 1.4 pips right now. Do I think we can go further? Yes, I do. I think we can. Now let me do this really quick. Let me do this. Do this thing. Let's do this. Drawing. Remove. Lines for current symbol. Done. Okay. Now let's zoom back out. Let's take our array here, go from that data point all the way down. Okay, roughly like that. Let's copy that, paste it. Low, low, low channel. Okay, here we are. That's where we're currently at. Spike high from when the euro spiked up to 110.50. That was the cable spike. Okay, that is touchable right now, I think. Hold on really quick. I'm going to do two things. 127% extension comes in at 151.05. Let's take this last move. 127% extension comes in at 150.57, almost where we're at right now. 151.07. I think it's doable. Just enough to spike above those highs to trip some stops. I think that'll be the next resistance level. Support. So where do bulls right now? Because you have to imagine people are getting long the cable right now. There are traders out there going, "Oh, dude, this is a squeeze. I'm getting long. We're breaking out." Where do they go? Where do they look at the market and go, "I'm wrong. Holy crap. Damn it, I need to get out." Where do the intraday traders, really figure out that they're wrong? I would say it's right below here. because you know, if they're getting long right now, they're going to situate their stops right below that level. So 150 and a quarter. Okay, we are still in a range, guys. Sorry to say. Hey, you're gonna have to excuse me 1 second, please. Okay. Um, all right. So let's go to the Swissy. So I got long the Swissy this morning. Thank you, Ziggy. I'm gonna thank you right now. I might curse you a little bit later, but for right now, since we're making money, I'm gonna thank you. Uh, Ziggy picked it up this morning somewhere down here in the teens. I picked it up at 26, and then it took off. Um, now I want you guys to understand the reason why I bought the dollar Swiss. Just because the Euro Swiss broke out of a pretty much a month long downtrend line, it was severing that this morning. I'm like, oh. And he asked, "Oh, Blake, did you pick up the Euro Swiss?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't do that. I didn't want to get too much short Swiss francs, but I did pick up the dollar Swiss because if you look at the dollar Swiss, look at like a 4 hour chart, give you a better view here. You got a really strong support at one was it 94.75. Okay, so that's really key support. No, there's no if and or buts about it. 94.75. That's really critical support. If that, I mean, I'm just telling you right now, my stops are below there, but also I picked it up at 26. So, my stops were situated below there, which is fine because I knew resistance is up here somewhere. Because really, if you, let's get rid of this, let's get rid of that for a moment. Let's keep that, let's get rid of that. Let's do this. That's really where resistance is, right? Because if the Swissy scales above 96 cents and we can hold it, like unlike what we did right here, but if we can get above 96 cents and hold, then now you're talking about a move, quite possibly back up towards, 97 cents. That's what I'm hoping for. We start surging towards 97 cents. And, when you talk risk reward, like in this particular trade, risk one to make, two when it was trading down here, you're risking one to make two or three. You know, that's the trade. You start getting up here, and it's like, you're coming in a trend line resistance. So, okay. We are definitely in a range. Let's go into the yen. So the dollar yen, and the yen's relatively weak. I mean, um, stocks are stronger. The dollar yen should, or excuse me, the stocks are weaker. Dollar yen should be weaker than it is, but it's higher because the Nikkei is actually at new trend highs, new multi-year highs. The trade bounce numbers came in near surplus, highest levels we've seen since 2011. So that's keeping these yen pairs elevated. Resistance is still here. 119.75, 119, we can write down 119.80. And support be these lows right through here. Did you guys hear my stomach? It was like, rawr. 119.30. 38% retracement. Huge support. Okay, let's take a look at the Canadian. All right, so here's the Canadian. And yesterday I was hoping for a move up to 123.50. You know, I was like, man, if we can get up there 123.50, it's going to be a great short. That never happened. I was hoping it would because I actually had an order to sell. I was just looking to make sure my order is not still open. It is not. Um, so, what to do, what to do, what to do? I don't know. I'm not too sure what the not too sure what the answer is here as far as the Canadian goes. I know 123.50 is really key resistance. I just, you know, looking at it today, I just don't know if we're going to make it all the way up there. We don't even have any Canadian data today. So it's like, how are we going to make it all the way up there? You know, and the answer is I'm not too sure. So looks like 123 is formidable resistance for today. Okay. Support probably not too bad here, not too shabby at 122, but we'll mark up 121.80, and we're just going to kind of deal with that range for now. Um, okay. Excuse me. Let me grab a drink of my water. Did I say water? Coffee. My coffee. And it's good coffee at that. It's Sumatra. Sumatra. That's right. From Trader Joe's, which isn't that good, but it's better than Folgers. Okay, where am I at? Let's go over to the Kiwi. So I shorted the Kiwi this morning at 77. What did I short? 77.28. Okay. Why? Because we were up against resistance again. But you have to imagine this Kiwi. This is really key resistance. If the dollar turns, like, you know, if we break out, I mean, it's going to be a breakout. So it was just decent risk reward. I mean, it was great risk reward up there. I know a couple of people in the chat room already shorted up there, but man, we're at risk of breaking higher. We are in the Kiwi. Okay, 77.40. Support 76.30. Let's take a look at the Aussie. Okay, here's the Aussie. Few of us sold it at 78. This is a, well, I guess we'll just keep that fib level in. 78, what is that? 78.10, basically. 786 retracement. Support's going to be right here. 77.50. Because anybody who bought the Aussie overnight, they're like, oh man, you know, strong CPI, I'm buying the Aussie. It's going a lot higher. Below 77.50, they go, you know, they're like, oh, that sucks. You know, that didn't work. Okay. That's where longs are gonna probably have their stops. Maybe somewhere below here. Anybody who got long overnight after the CPI data, they'll put their stops right through here. So if we come through there, that's where all the stops will be at. All right. Okay. Now, when I come back, we're going to do the dollar index. We'll do some of the other, we'll look at the peso. We'll look at, all the other ones, the Norwegian krona, Swedish krona, any other exotics you want to see, any emerging market currencies you want to see, just let me know. I'll be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to go grab some more coffee. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. McDonald's just reported and they were citing a stronger dollar. Imagine that. Multinationals, tell you. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at the dollar index. Here is the dollar index. And so the thing about the dollar is we're, in this triangle, if you will, or tight range. And let's extend, well, first of all, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that fib, okay? Let's get rid of these lines that we drew here from yesterday. And let's keep this triangle, okay? As you can see here, I'm gonna get rid of that one. We don't need that. Okay. Extend that out a little bit, and you can see how important today's lows are. I think today's lows are gonna be really important. Let's go over to a 1 hour chart. Okay. These lows are going to be uber important, I believe. Those come in at 97.30. That 786. That low, that's actually going to be really important today. Okay, right through here. You can see it all through here. Okay, so 97.30. And where is resistance? Okay. So where do we look at the dollar and go, man, that thing's turning higher right now? It's going to be above 97.90. Okay. Not too far away, but 97.90 should be resistance. Okay. We are definitely in a range. So if we take out that high, then then we know that we're making a move here. All right, so there's the dollar. Let's go look at let's see if there's anything happening. And let's go over to the peso. So the peso, well, that's a big move just in the last hour. We have to keep an eye on the peso. And, I know I tweeted out the chart yesterday. We're not far from highs. And here's the weekly chart. And crude oil is actually going up this morning. But there's the peso. And I think we looked at it via this chart. Okay. Let's go over to a weekly chart. You can see here, regarding the peso, we're near multi-year highs. We haven't really backed off despite the dollar, weakness that we've seen, and which is surprising. I'm surprised that the U.S. dollar Mexican peso hasn't fallen with the dollar weakness, some of the crude strength that we've seen. Wow. Swiss National Bank says exemption from negative interest on sight deposit accounts. Says fewer exemptions from negative interest on sight deposit accounts at Swiss National Bank. That's they just said that, and look at the Swissy go. Thank you, Paul.
Maybe I'm gonna take some profits here as we approach 96. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll probably just move my stops to break even. I'm up 61 pips this morning. Thanks, Ziggy. Um, I'm just gonna move my stop to break even. Where is my break even? 95.25. Okay, I'll take it. All right. Thank you very much, Paulie, for bringing that to my attention. Swiss National Bank says negative rates will now also apply to accounts held by enterprise linked to Confederation and Pension Fund of Confederation. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's spiking up. I like it. I'm in. Yeah, look at the Swiss pairs. I mean, the Swiss is just rocking, man. Did anybody else long a Swiss pair? I mean, like I'm long the dollar Swiss, but man, look at that Euro Swiss. That really took off. Pound Swiss took off. I hear Paul, I think. Look at the pound Swiss. Wow. Huge.
Hey Blake, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that story I just tweeted out is because now it's even going to apply to those. They're having the meeting of the Swiss National Bank. They're actually like they're like a I don't know, I guess I'm not using the right word, but they're actually private. They're unlike other national
Yes,
banks.
that's
So what they're
correct.
saying is even the companies that are within the federation of the Swiss, Swiss, whatever you want to call it, they're even bound to the negative interest rates. Like they're going to get whacked too. So that's why the Swiss is getting whacked and you're doing good on your dollar Swissy or Euro Swiss, whatever you're on. So anyway, I just wanted to go and pop that in there just for clarification on that tweet that I put out on the Swiss National Bank. And also negative rates also apply to accounts held by enterprises linked to the Confederation of Pension Fund and Confederation. So all those people get whacked too. So I guess that's why it's kind of like taking a hit too, and you're seeing gains on Euro Swiss and dollar Swiss.
Wow. All right. Very good. Okay.
Okay,
Uh, Huge move. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul.
sure.
All right. And hold on, guys. I'm just kind of looking at everything that I've got here, making sure that all the Swiss pairs are staying in line. Very nice. Okay. Um, all right. So yeah, above 96 cents. Thanks, Paul. Above 96 cents is going to get pretty bullish here. We'll just keep an eye on it. Um, and Paul is exactly right. The Swiss National Bank it's a private. It's not a government agency. So all right. So going back to the peso. So check out the peso. I think this one's one we need to keep our eye on. Why? Because if the peso starts rallying, that to me would suggest that the dollar might be breaking loose because this is one of those. It's kind of like the Canadian in a certain respect to me. That if for some reason the 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 peso started, the dollar Mexican peso is breaking higher, we've got to start looking at all the other dollar pairs. It's kind of like a lead indicator, if you will, and has since I've been watching it. But the dollar Canadian is too. So 15.49 is resistance here. So let's go over to the U.S. dollar Mexican peso. 15.49, and then support is 15.35. I mean, this thing is getting close to turning bullish again. It's close to turning bullish, and if that thing turns bullish, then you got to start looking at all the other dollar pairs. Let's look at the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona. So yesterday, we had rolled over from over here and it said, okay, well, it's going to be a good short as long as it stays below this red line. It gets below, above that red line, then you're going to start to squeeze because see, we had this trend line break, no follow through. So if we start, breaking back above these highs, look out, right? Wow, Swissy's above 96 cents. Holy crap. Ziggy, if you were standing next to me, I would kiss you. Not on the lips, on the cheek, all right? All right. Um, let's go. Let's take a look at this Swedish krona. Oh, Swedish krona is huge support right here. Huge support on this on the Swedish krona. Man, I'm almost thinking about going long that one. Oh, I can't. Never mind. Fuck. Fudge. Ziggy says no kisses, please. I can't type comments in the webinar box while I'm taping. Okay. Point taken. No kisses. That's fine. I really didn't want to anyway. That's what Ziggy's saying in the chat room. Um, hmm. Yeah. See, these Nordic currencies, they just aren't breaking down, guys. You got all these people that are fading the dollar right now, and I just don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. As long as these aren't selling off, I got to write down this for the Norwegian krona because if we for some reason get above 791, I have to write both these down actually. 791 support is at obviously 771. This is key though because if that breaks, then it turns bullish as well. And let's go to the Swedish krona because the Swedish krona, I mean, look at this wind up. It's 870, 860, 859 actually, but okay. Krona 859, 870. We break that and it turns bullish. Okay. You got to watch some of these dollar pairs because they're on the cusp of maybe turning bullish. And if they do, look at this peso. They start turning bullish. Look out. Okay. All right. So the pound's still strengthening. Remember, I'm going to short more if we get up to 151, above 151. Look at the Swissy. Go Swissy. Huge. All right. Let's take a look at some of these questions. New high Swissy. Is anybody else long Swissies? Okay, so Daryl's short the Swiss yen. Patricia's long the Euro Swiss. Doug says I'm long the Euro Swiss and dollar Swiss. Oh, the glory days. Oh, good for you. Randall says, which cheek am I going to kiss of Ziggy's? Yeah, no, that's gross, Randall. That's not even funny. That's actually gross. Um, Tom says maybe Ziggy is one of those FX Greek gods. Could be. Could be. Dave says, in front of my newborn. Oh. Patrick says, if I were cynical, I would say the Swiss National Bank decided they had to defend that 95 level. Too many touches. Um, but you're not, so that's good. Wow, look at the Swissy go. Go, Swissy. Look at the euro taking an absolute poop dive right now. The euro is taking an absolute 100% poop dive. It went into poop dive mode. You guys watching that? Um, Bob says, "Oh, was that a Blake?" No, I said fart. Fart. Rich says, "Hey Blake, what's the reason for choosing not to trade the Nordic currencies?" Cheers. It's not by choice. MB Trading, after the Swiss National Bank's moves, they like most brokerage firms remove or they raise margin on the Nordic currencies. MB Trading said, "Well, we just don't want any part of it." Um, okay. Nick says, oh wait, hold on, let me see. Um, Elaine's long the euro, the dollar Swiss, and Qatar is long the dollar Swiss from 95.10. Nice. Oh, look at you guys. Um, Kevin says I was long the Canadian Swiss and just recently closed it for 115 pips. Very nice. Look at you guys go. Very impressive. Very impressive people. All right, I'm going to go back into questions really quick, so just bear with me. Um, Dan says spot iron ore 60%, 62% Fe jumps exactly $3 or 5.9% to 54.04. Big move. It is, Dan. I mean, they're bigger moves now that iron ore has come down so aggressively. So percentage wise, it seems pretty big. But yes, iron ore has bounced.